you see him on the news.
CNN.com contributor, Dean Obeidallah. So, Dean...
Watch him at comedy clubs.
When I say Mecca, do you think of a holy place or an urban clothing line?
Read his articles. And you hear him on the radio. The Dean Obeidallah Show is on live right here on SiriusXM Progress, channel 127.
And welcome to the Dean Obeidallah Show, brothers and sisters of the resistance. It is Friday, April 12th. I'm Dean Obeidallah. Of course, I am desperately here to be your MBFF. That's what I do. We're here for a big weekend. We are on Robert Mueller Report Watch. I don't know what we're going to get. All we know is Bill Barr's letter from over a week ago said April 15th was the deadline that he promised, self-imposed. That's this Monday. I thought we were going to get it today. I'll be honest. Here at the show, I'm like, we're going to get it 5 o'clock on Friday. We didn't. He can dump it over the weekend. I think more likely it's Monday, and then the fight begins, unless somehow his redactions are fair and reasonable. And there's nothing about Bill Barr would make me think that he's going to be anything than a partisan hack puppet for Donald Trump, except the fact Rod Rosenstein and others might be involved and fight with him over it. So we'll see what happens. So this weekend, I'm going to New Hampshire with Matt, my producer. It's not for a vacation getaway. We're going to be up there interviewing candidates. If you're around in the Nashville area, I'm going to be moderating a town hall Sunday with John Delaney, former congressman, who's one of the 2020 candidates. 2 p.m. It's free, open to the public at a place called the Flight Center on Main Street in Nashua. And if you live in the area and you didn't catch that, you can email me, dean@deanofradio.com. I'll send you the information, 2 o'clock. We're going to tape it. We're going to play it on the show next week. Also, we're going to some Liz Warren events. And if all well, we have a one-on-one interview with Senator Liz Warren on Saturday as well. We'll play that next week. So looking forward to that. And also, if you're in Jersey, anywhere in Jersey, this Tuesday, I'm moderating a town hall with New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy. And we're going to record that and play it later in the week as well. It's in Paterson, New Jersey. It's historic. It's the first one at a mosque for a sitting governor that we know in New Jersey history, or maybe anywhere, frankly. But it's open to everyone. In fact, we want people of other faiths and other backgrounds or no faith whatsoever to come on out this Tuesday, Paterson, New Jersey, 7 p.m. in Paterson, New Jersey, in Passaic County. And open to public. Again, that's on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Dean of Radio, where I tweeted about both events at Dean Obeidallah. So it's busy trying to give you some unique content, some interesting content from the state level governors to people running for president and more. But first, before we get into the big issues, and it's ridiculous, it's unreal in a cruel way and in a despicable way what Donald Trump wants to do on immigration. But first, we need some humor. It is Friday. And let's have a little fun here. Here is Seth Meyers last night on Donald Trump now all of a sudden not knowing what WikiLeaks is. It's something we covered here seriously. Here's Seth Meyers having some fun with it on NBC last night. Clip number 1, please.
One person who's always been very clear about where he stands on WikiLeaks is Donald Trump. And yet, when Trump was asked today about WikiLeaks, which he repeatedly praised throughout the campaign, he pretended he didn't know anything about it.
Do you still love WikiLeaks?
I know nothing about WikiLeaks. It's not my thing.
Oh, it's not your thing. Well, what is your thing?
You know, there are 15 players capable of winning, and I guess you could say there are a lot more than that. They're great players. I don't think a field for the Masters has ever been this deep. I was watching late last night, and they were going over the different players. I think the field has never been so deep, but always Phil and Tiger and Dustin. I mean, you have so many great players, but they were just saying they're younger, they're stronger, they've never hit the ball this long, they've never hit the ball this accurately, they've never putted better than they do now. You know, the whole thing is pretty incredible, but the field is very, very deep. I think it's going to be a great Masters.
That's the most coherent answer he's ever given. And it wasn't even that coherent.
If you don't follow golf, those names might mean nothing to you. I like golf, and he was going through the top golfers by first name. He's played golf with a lot of them, and you can see that's his priority. He is somehow stuck as president or the guy in the Oval Office. We wish he wasn't there. I think there are times he wishes he wasn't there, and it is unreal. And then here's a quick thing by Seth Meyers on Bill Barr, the Donald Trump's favorite pet, talking before Congress on when we're going to see the Mueller report. Here's clip number 2, please.
This is why it's crucial that decisions involving the Mueller report remain independent of Trump. And yet yesterday, when his Attorney General William Barr was asked if he briefed the White House on the Mueller report, Barr's answer was very evasive.
Has anyone in the White House seen any of the report? I'm not gonna, as I say, I'm landing the plane right now, and I've been willing to discuss my letters and the process going forward, but the report's going to be out next week, and I'm just not going to get into the details of the process until the plane's on the ground.
The plane has been on the ground. Mueller landed the plane. You're the crew guy refusing to drive the little gate thingy up to the door so we can get off the plane. This is why.
And I have no idea what we're going to see from Bill Barr. We know he's outlined 4 areas he's going to redact this report. One of them is so overly broad, it's just about protecting Donald Trump, and that's what he's all about. That's all he is. So I imagine we're going to see a litigation about this. I wish Gerald Nadler, the House Judiciary Chair, had already served the subpoena on Barr day one when he did not produce the report and said, we want the entire report. And you could say, look, there a day that you have to produce it. It could be in the future, 2 to 3 weeks away, but to make it clear that Democrats were not going to sit back and go like, we're going to be reasonable and you can redact what you want. We'll have a nice discussion over tea in the Senate cloakroom or something. No, we're going to fight this out. And I think, Nadler and the generation, and it's not about age with Nadler, it's just a different generation of politics where getting along with the administration is important, and the idea of we can work with Republican administrations on certain things and find common ground. Maybe you could, but not with Trump. And that's what I get to now. There was a breaking news story that happened just a short time ago, and it all intertwines with Donald Trump's cruelty and king-like approach to being president of the United States of America. In fact, at this point, I've said this, and I say it again here before we go through these stories, which are very serious. At this point, you either support Donald Trump or you support the United States of America. There's no overlap. And let me explain again here what broke today and last night that makes it even more clear. We learned a short time ago, a couple of hours ago, the New York Times broke a story. Last week, Donald Trump urged the acting Homeland Security Director, Kevin McClennan, to close the border at the southwestern border, to close it, even though a federal judge said that Trump cannot block asylum seekers who enter the country legally or illegally. And what did Trump tell McClellan when apparently it was raised that this might be illegal? Trump, according to the New York Times, said he would pardon him if he encountered any legal problems as a result of taking this action. Think about that. There is Donald Trump, King Trump, saying, don't worry about the laws, don't worry about the federal court. I'll pardon you because this is a lawless regime. This is a dictatorship. This is an authoritarian regime you read about. And then last night, something, when it was first reported last night, I honestly did not believe it could be true. I honestly could not believe. I could believe that somebody raised it, maybe Stephen Miller, but I could not believe it was true. But we learned something more this afternoon. And what happened last night is the Washington Post, and what we learned last night had not been confirmed at the time. In fact, before I tell you about this, I want to remind you what Donald Trump, not us, but what Donald Trump and his base think of migrants coming to this country. So when you hear exactly what Donald Trump's threat is, that you understand how sinister this is in his own mind. It's not accurate, but it's in his own mind. Here's Donald Trump telling you, describing in his view, people who come to our country and what they're about. So here's clip 3.
And these are the best and the finest. When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists.
You said that there were Middle Easterners in the caravan. Can you explain that? Are you saying there are terrorists?
Well, they could very well be. Yeah, they could very well be. And if you look at,
you know for sure.
I have very good information.
So, that's the only clips? All right. So there's Donald Trump saying, in his view, what the caravan is, the people, the migrants, they're rapists, they're drug dealers, they're potentially terrorists. And what does he want to do with them? And again, this is not what they really are, but this is what Donald Trump wants to do with them. And this is stunning. And I want you to listen very carefully because I don't think we've ever heard this in the history, not in modern day political history. We would all know this. The Washington Post reported last night that White House officials had tried to pressure U.S. immigration authorities to release detainees onto the streets of sanctuary cities, which are blue states, blue cities. Why? To retaliate against Donald Trump's political adversaries, according to DHS officials. And one of the places they were targeting is to release migrants in Nancy Pelosi's district in San Francisco and other Democrats who have opposed Donald Trump. Now, today, all afternoon, the Trump administration denied that was true. So I'm like, oh, maybe it's a joke. Maybe it's not. Well, around 2:30 Eastern time, Donald Trump confirmed that's actually true, and they're currently looking into it. Donald Trump tweeted, due to the fact that Democrats are unwilling to change our very dangerous immigration laws, we are indeed, as reported, giving strong consideration to placing illegal immigrants in sanctuary cities only. So Trump, think about this. He's thinking about putting migrants who he views as rapists and as drug dealers and as terrorists in sanctuary cities, in blue cities. What Donald Trump is doing here is, first, this is abuse of power. This is not what a president of the United States should do. Secondly, he's weaponizing the Department of Homeland Security to literally, in his view, and this is how he views it, because if he was being kind and going, you know what, sanctuary cities, in some of them, undocumented immigrants can even get driver's license and they can work. So I'm going to put them there. That's not why they're. He's putting them there because in his view, they are terrorists and they are rapists and they're drug dealers. And he wants to let that wrath on his political enemies go forth to make them and you and your family, in his view, get raped or killed. And while statistically that's not correct, that's what in his mind, that's all that matters here. This is what Donald Trump is saying. I want to send people to the blue cities to rape and kill people because how dare you stand up to me politically? This is where we are with Donald Trump. This is abuse of power. This is impeachment material, in my view. And then we learned that more than that, that King Trump is going to maybe use the military more to build tent cities down on the border, which arguably is not what our military is supposed to do. But think about that. Forget politics. Think about imagine Obama saying, I'm going to stop all regulations to protect the environment in red cities because your elected officials are not helping me. So sorry if you get any kind of cancers or diseases, but that's what I'm doing because you're my political adversary and you won't go along. So if some people get sick or die, you can blame the elected officials for not going along with me. This is unreal. You have Donald Trump offering to pardon people to violate the law, to shut the border down. And he literally said today, and I have his tweet here. I don't want to play his stupid language I'm speaking. He said this afternoon at a little press event, yes, we are strongly considering releasing the migrants into sanctuary cities, which is just code for blue cities. I've never heard this. And there's no president of the United States that has done this. This is not about left and right. This is not about Democrat nor Republican. This is about, do you side with Donald Trump or do you side with the United States of America? Do you side with our Constitution and our rule of law, or do you side with a man who will pardon people to violate the law, to further his policies, who will release, in his mind, criminals onto the streets of blue cities to rape and kill people there because the elected officials will not do what he wants? That is literally what Donald Trump is saying here. He is saying it in his tweet. Again, this is not me being hyperbolic, and I can be hyperbolic. The idea, due to the fact Democrats are unwilling to change our very dangerous immigration laws, we indeed, as reported, are giving strong consideration to placing illegal immigrants in sanctuary cities only. And what does he think of illegal immigrants? Let's remind you again. Here is clip number 3. Just a quick thing.
And these are the best and the finest. When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists.
You said that there were Middle Easterners in the caravan. Can you explain that? Are you saying there are terrorists?
Well, they could very well be, yeah. They could very well be, and if you look at...
Do you know for sure?
I have very good information.
There you go. Donald Trump wants, in his mind, unleash terrorists and people he's called animals and rapists and drug dealers on the streets of blue cities and blue states to punish the elected officials there for not going along with what he wants. And Donald Trump, in his mind, sincerely believes, I think, that they are going to rape and kill people. But that is the price of helped elect them. Our intelligence agencies say that. The question is, was there coordination or not? And Robert Mueller did not find that evidence. But he wants to be like Putin. He wants to be like Sisi in Egypt, who was just in the White House a few days ago, who he called a great leader, a man who has literally 40,000 political prisoners and has executed journalists and those who spoke out against him. This is who Donald Trump wants to be. And you're seeing it right in front of us. And where is the GOP? Where you imagine Obama saying any of this? And I know that's kind of hackney to say that. But for a second, imagine Obama advocated any of this. I'm going to let criminals on the streets of red cities go there because I'm going to send a message. I'm going to retaliate. Again, the Washington Post reporting is very clear. I'm reading their exact wording. Donald Trump was doing this to retaliate against Democrats who oppose his policies. That's the reporting in the Washington Post. Donald Trump is not denying that. He goes, yes, we're looking into it. We are strongly considering that. He is not denying what this is about. He had in his tweet, and the tweet continued, because somehow, in his view, Democrats like open borders. This is where we are in the United States of America, April 12, 2019. A president who has continued to favor his base, including with a tax cut plan. Don't forget, it hurt the blue states by capping the state and local tax deduction, and that really hurt the bigger states. Again, running his presidency like a king, only caring about being king of his base, not president of the United States. And I've said this before, Donald Trump is not my president. And I don't say that to be snarky. I say that because he doesn't want to be my president. He does not want to be your president. He wants to be king of his base. If you're in his base, you've got your king. You've got your man. You're more loyal to him at this point than American values. There's no doubt about it. This, you should all be screaming about this. And they're not. The GOP is silent. Trump is the GOP, and the GOP is Trump. Come November 3rd, 2020, we have to eradicate this cancer known as Trumpism and Trump by winning the White House and winning the Senate. And then maybe we get rid of the filibuster in the Senate right away and pass a host of progressive laws, including maybe even expanding the Supreme Court. At this point, the danger of what they're putting in front of me makes me think of things that before I would have said never no to. So let's take a break. I want to hear from you. You're my guest right at the top there. We got a lot of great guests tonight. Ali Velshi from MSNBC is going to be here. Maria Cardona from CNN is going to be on. In our third hour, we have fun with our What Just Happened segment. We look back at the week, and we're going to have Evan Siegfried and Maureen Langen here. We'll be right back. More of the Dean Obeidallah Show. And you're my calls. You're my guest right to the top of the hour. Be right back.
The Dean Obeidallah Show.
Whoever's the next president, we should call him the 45th president of the United States. And this will go down as a dark time